Put it up on YouTube tonight too. Why not?
Let's get crazy.
Let's get crazy like Kadarius, baby. All right.
Did you send out the link in the chat?
Yeah, send it out. We are back. This is the OFL After Dark podcast. And yeah, it's just me and Will tonight. Welcome in, Will, the Fantasy Reaper. How we doing?
What's up?
You're
It's
lounging
one of those
pretty
weeks where I got the win right over Russo, but
Yeah.
for some reason it feels like I lost. I don't know.
What do you mean it feels like you lost? I don't get that.
Well, watching Brian come back on Steve, it just I think we were talking about this a little bit. I took the wind out of my sails. It's like, what am I even competing for here?
Yeah.
Second place, third place.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be tough to catch Brian, of course, as we know. And I had something I wanted to pull up here as I get it up and transfer it over to my computer. I'll be able to show you. But yeah, I mean, it was another crazy week of football, of course. And you know, what are you gonna do? It's one of those things, Will, where one of those teams just starts to run away with it. And you hope and think like, well, does anyone else have a shot? And it's really it's tough. It's tough when you see a team that's doing this well. Has there been another time where we've seen a team like this? I know we talked about Steve the year he went undefeated.
Yeah,
and, way back when.
Yeah,
maybe
and that's, I think,
my team last year. But yeah.
Yeah, I think, and that's why I kind of went through Brian's schedule a little bit and tried to circle a week when he really might not be a favorite, actually. And then
is there something? Did you find anything?
So actually, funny enough, is I think I'm playing him in, I believe it's week 13, and I think that might be the best shot of like him getting a loss because Henry and Jones are on a bye.
Henry and Jones. By then, he would have already probably locked up the 1 seed at that point, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's benching his guys to keep him healthy. I don't know, but he's
yeah.
He's I mean, this team he put together is impressive, and I have nothing short of impressive.
Yeah,
talent from top to bottom.
Absolutely.
I mean, even teams that aren't playing well, like Diggs or I mean, and younger guys, even Pittman. So I think that it's impressive, and it's kind of a 1 year run too, right? Because this whole thing kind of folds after this year. Mahomes goes back, Jones goes back,
Henry
goes back, right? So they'll have Diggs again. But yeah, so it's and even the pickup of Ertz, right? Ertz hasn't been seen in 3 years, and now
and he gets the touchdown.
High flying offense, and
we'll see how involved Arizona. He is. You know, we'll see what happens. They do spread the ball around a lot there, but yeah, the Brian train keeps rolling right along, and there he is. It just keeps chugging right along as he gets ready to demolish all of us. We'll go over the matchups that we've got coming up here, but Will and I have been talking a lot about, you know, and Boyce, of course, who's not here tonight, have been talking about the structure of our show, and I think moving forward, we're just going to do more of just kind of open-end discussion about players in the league and really not focus too much on our review of the matchups and the preview of the games. We will, of course, go over them, and I'll pull them up. I'm not going to do the split screen, but, you know, again, we want this to be something maybe that grows organically to a point where people are actually listening to us, and I think it would make a lot more sense if we were good at fantasy football. You know,
you and Boyce are really helping us. In this endeavor to be considered experts.
We could still, of course, try to maneuver our way out of the booty bowl, but yeah, it's not looking great. It like I said last week, if you've tuned into the show,
2 games in too.
Yeah, well, no, there's a couple of players that are 2 and 3, or 2 and 4, I should say, right? So we have a shot to climb out. But yeah,
the only other one.
Naka's 3 and 3, but yeah, I mean,
Naka's rolling.
Speaking of Naka, last week he gets the win over me. Geez, my team didn't show up once again. As soon as Chubb went out, that was it for me. That was the nail for in the coffin for week 6. And you know, Naka, Naka got that boost in the second half of the 4 o'clock games. Like for a second there, it was going to be close. It was going to come down to Sanders and Bass, and Bass did have a decent game. He's best kicker in the league, right? But having the best kicker in the league and nobody else, literally nobody else. Well, Stafford too. It's not going to help. So Naka gets the win, goes to 3-3.
Still top 5.
Still top 5. My prediction of top 6 could be coming true if one thing happens well this week. That's my silver lining. We talked
Wilson's
about
mallet finger helps you out on that one.
Yeah, that's right. Well, speaking of the mallet finger, it didn't matter this week because you were able to start Derek Carr and put up decent points, 27.2. But you wanted to start Tua, right? I mean, Tua was
I wanted to do the swap in the with the 9 o'clock start time. Kind of screwed me up because I was going to pick up Penny, right? So I was Penny going to the IR. He's actually going to be activated this week.
Yep. And you're going to swap those two.
Yeah, and we'll see if Penny ends up being the RB1 there in Seattle. Which is an interesting trade that Kevin made with getting Collins there. And if he ends up being the backup to Penny, because obviously a couple years back now, they spent the first round pick on him.
Yeah. It's like we've been waiting for Penny to kind of get his day, and maybe it happens now. If Carson doesn't come back healthy and Penny's back, he'll probably get some carries, and he does have juice. So we'll see. You get the win over Russo. Russo puts up 101. Tom Brady, Joe Mixon, DeAndre Hopkins were his big players, but you had a nice week. The pickup of Darrell Williams helped you certainly as well, which a guy I should have bid $13, but again, it's just a small fix for a big hole that I have. So you move to 4-2, and so does Russo here. The next matchup, I mean, again, Brian. The big Monday night out of Henry, Mahomes, and of course the Buffalo defense taking away from Steve. I don't want to dwell on this one much longer. He's had a pretty rough season, probably one of the most unluckiest 3-3 teams in our league.
Oh, definitely, especially the last 2 weeks where he's lost one Monday night.
And now he's got to face me, where you think he'd get an easy win, but he's in bye week hell this week, big time.
He's in a tough spot, and This was the 1 week he was planning on starting Carr, which he traded to me for DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae
Adams, Devontae Parker,
Parker. So, and that's who ended up being like a late scratch again. I don't know what's up with that dude, but he looked like he was breaking out a couple years ago. That he was getting all on the right track. Kind of a la Mike Williams, right? That very similar kind of thing where it's like, oh, he was kind of forgotten, kind of bigger body dude. That everybody thought was going to be a real star, and he looked like he was getting out of his own way. And now, once again, found a new coach that he pisses off, and I don't know, these phantom hamstring injuries.
Maybe he never does get to that point where he's actually.
It doesn't look like it. Which he'll put up a week here and there, but it just does not look like that he's ever going to be the dude that.
Well, now I mean the breaking news that we'll get into, of course, if Tua's on the move now too, if they trade for Watson, we can get into that a little bit and a little later in the show. But let's move on. We had a pretty bad pillow fight here with Devil and Kevin gets to win the 5-point win. Murray with almost 30 points. Both Murrays doing it for him, and Dylan Carlson, the model of consistency for Kevin as he remains 3-3. But he gets the tough win there. And Devil drops to 2-4. Might be reeling at this point with Jackson not putting up the points after a 50-point week. You would think, well, maybe he's on a roll now, and they just didn't. And they won the game, right? They won pretty big. He just didn't do anything, which is interesting. Teddy gets the very convincing win over Boyce. Boyce is spiraling. It's not a great week for him.
He's a rough spot, and especially the weeks that Mike Williams doesn't show up. He's his team doesn't have much use there.
And Ham somehow puts up over 100 points. I mean, he had a nice night from Josh Allen, and he starts Deontay Harris and in a spot start and almost gets 18 points out of him. And Mullins' other Harris puts up 18, but gets the loss there. Just didn't have enough outside of the top 3 performers with Hurts, Chuba, Hubbard, and Najee.
Yeah, I wonder if this is where we start seeing the Ham push, right? That he starts figuring out what his team is. And
well, that's interesting you bring that up because he has $0 in free agency money. So if this is the time for Ham to prove that he's the best fantasy manager amongst us, with no money, this is his biggest task. might be this moving forward. So that's those are the matchups, of course. The rankings at this point: Brian at the top, Boys Tonight at the bottom, and a lot of parity in between then and there. You've got a couple of 4-2 teams. You got a bunch of 3-3 teams, a couple of 2-4 teams. But yeah, this is we've hit almost the halfway point of the regular season. I think 13 weeks is where we cap it at for the regular season, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. There, Will. And
so I mean, there'll be 17 weeks in the season all told. So 17 minus 3. So I think we go 14 now.
Is it 14? All right. So we've got one more week. This is the halfway point this week. So maybe what you want to save our halfway? I know you had a good bit you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, maybe we can save it for next week. The Boys is on as well.
Yeah,
I think we have a little bit other stuff to talk about. The one thing is, right, the trade, right, the trade back. Did you see that the reverse trade where it was Collins and $4 or something for Sanders, Miles Sanders, who had gone for 40 earlier in the year, 45, something like that, some crazy amount.
Yeah.
And which Miles Sanders, the interesting thing is, when he gets the ball, he's still good. He's 5 yards carry. I mean, on like 6 carries, so he ends up with 30 yards. Obviously, I don't think that's going to change this year unless they decide to go away from Jalen Hurts and try to see if they can get some Minshew magic going.
Or traditional,
in a traditional offense. And there are other guys that they do like in that backfield, and so it does make you wonder, how much they are really committed to Miles Sanders.
I think that's just the NFL as a whole, though, Will. If you really think about it, like there's not many workhorse backs left. I mean, you've got Henry, of course. You've got Najee Harris, who's heavily involved in Pittsburgh, but that's kind of their style. And then outside of those guys like Joe Mixon, it's a lot of 2-back systems now. And, they drafted Kenny Gainwell with a pretty nice collegiate pedigree. So, we'll see. But an interesting trade to say the least
will be if they do go to a 1-back system in Denver next year with Javonte Williams. Not to talk about my dude, but the
driving that price up.
Yeah, well, Gordon's contract expiring, right? And he's that big bodied back that you would think could be a bell cow. If they go and try to partner with him with a more traditional 3rd down back.
Yeah, like they had when they had Philip Lindsay and they let him go.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is interesting. I was looking at the stats the other day. They're split 50-50. I mean, their numbers are almost identical. So if you look at that over in a vacuum, you would think that if one guy goes down, those are the only two that are getting the carries. Would they get the full load, or would they bring in somebody else? But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's interesting to see.
Same in Cleveland, right? When Chubb comes back, is it going to be Chubb and D'Ernest, right? Is D'Ernest going to go step into the hunt role, or are they
I think Felton might be the guy that goes into the hunt role. He's more the pass catcher. I was,
Hunt's not pass catcher. He's their goal line back. I mean, he's a traditional running back.
But he does. But Chubb doesn't get the targets anymore. He only gets 2 targets, 3 targets a game, maybe 1 a game now. And Hunt's the guy out of the backfield that catches passes. And
Chubb looks like he's out of 1983. That's the thing.
Yeah, but Chubb doesn't have bad hands. That's the thing. It's just they've kind of put it in this.
I envision him with finger tape on his fingers, though, right? Like he just doesn't like.
Yeah,
he's just such a large man, and he's. I mean, he's a beast. That
very old school running back.
Yeah, I don't think that he's just the utilization, which will be good for him long term, right? That he'll probably age better because of it, especially with the knee injuries he had in college.
Yeah,
but but also Hunt's phenomenal running back too, right? They both signed long term there. And,
yep, absolutely.
And great friends apparently as well. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, but you're absolutely right that the whole NFL has gone to this 2-back system, and so if you're able to grab one of those bell cows, which we thought Mullen got with CMC, right?
CMC,
not a traditional dude, but
poor Mullen.
It's such a huge carry share. But yeah, and then what Brian got with both. Although Jones is now splitting with Dylan.
Right? Dylan's getting some. You know what? That's the thing. Dylan's starting to chip away a little bit. And the thing about AJ Dillon is he's the guy you bring on late in the year when it's cold, right? No one wants to tackle Derrick Henry in December. AJ Dillon's kind of the same way. He's built. He's not built like Henry to the extent that Henry is, but big-bodied guy, tough to take down, quadzilla, that whole thing. So we'll see. I mean, if Jones went down, I mean, AJ Dillon, and not to talk up my guys, but AJ Dillon might be the best handcuff in football, right? I mean, in an offense where they move the ball, he obviously has the trust of Aaron Rodgers. So if anything were to happen to Jones, AJ Dillon would immediately become a top 15, if not top 10 back. And you know, you never want to wish injury on anyone, but I'd love
handcuff.
Yeah.
The other one, right? It's well, back to my team. Brian's gonna get really upset. We're gonna see this in the comments.
We could talk about Tony Pollard all day, but we're not going to. Yeah.
But he's a good handcuff. But the other one that's a 1-for-1 trade off is kind of Williams down in Kansas City, right? That CEH kind of come out, and actually I was, when you brought up my team, and that I actually made that swap at 12:58, right? I had Swift in there. It would have made a difference, but definitely better play. But the thing is that I actually wonder if CEH gets the job back when he comes back.
It's a good point.
Because I remember 2 years ago when Hunt was still on the team and Damian Williams was there, that they were saying that Williams was saying that he thinks he's faster than Tyreek Hill. And he's an LSU guy. So, I mean, the kid got some legit wheels, and the team needs a little bit more speed out of the backfield, in my opinion, than what CEH is able to give him.
Yeah, they're not a traditional like running team where they just run the ball between the tackles. So like that CEH, start where they get, they kind of know what he's all about. He's, they kind of figured his routes and the way he runs. But if you get a guy that's a little bit faster who can break to the edge, it fits their style a little bit more because they are a fast-paced team. And I agree with you. I think CEH's season isn't necessarily over, but when he comes back, he's certainly not going to get the bell cow back because he was fumbling the ball. And it seemed like Andy Reid was trying to force the ball to him.
Trying to get him into that, right?
They want to get him to the groove, right? And that's the thing. Andy Reid has always run a one-back system. Like it was Westbrook, it was McCoy, so if CEH
Hunt, right?
comes back, Hunt, yep, absolutely. So if the case is that CEH comes back and he has to earn that right, you would hope that Darrell Williams just has a stranglehold on that position. But he's not going to disappear by any means. CEH will get work.
I don't think so either.
But maybe those roles have flipped.
Better in that little bit lighter.
So he's not the guy that's carrying it a bunch.
Did at LSU, right? Which actually,
who did he back up when he was there? Was it Fournette or no? He was kind of the guy when he was there. Yeah, so maybe CEH was the guy.
No, Geis, right? He wasn't.
Yeah, Darius Geis. Yeah, there's a name we haven't heard in a long time. But so. Yeah, I mean, to get back, I guess to kind of put a bow on the whole trade, it's the running back seems to be kind of a crapshoot this year. I mean, it always is, right? But this year more than ever, so many guys are getting hurt. You've got the top backs, like Saquon got hurt, CMC got hurt, Chubb's out now, guys that haven't performed like you thought they were, Carson's out now. So if you've got good stock in running backs, you're in a good, especially in a league where it's not PPR, right? I mean, you can find ways to start a running back who gets 5 to 6 catches out of the backfield and maybe puts up 40 rushing yards because then you're getting 9 points. But at the end of the day, it's those rare 15 to 20 carry guys that you really need to value more. And it's like it's really not it's not fair when you look at some of these rosters and you see all these running backs just burning holes on benches and and like the point you made, is anyone going to catch Brian? I mean, there's been a lot of trades this year, but really, I don't see. Is anyone else going to go for it? Is anyone really going to try to contend with Brian?
As you see on my screen, right? I'm 4-2, right? And I'm really one boneheaded move away from being 5-1. And looking at my team, I'm like, I'm just not that good, right? And that's the thing is that I don't have the confidence in my team that even if I do make a move and try to put myself over the top, that I'm even in the same realm. And that's where I'm like trying to, and we've had a lot of discussions, you and I, trying to go and find something that can kind of be a little bit of a hedge, right? That you could go and it could get me better this year, and then, but also be like the lightning in a bottle that if I catch a good week and get that upside to go, and because to be Brian, you're gonna have to put up 140, right? 150, right? In the just so happens that week, right? So
that's more realistic than him actually. Like I think honestly this year outside of his like
week.
dreaded bye week blues he might have, he put up 109 against me. That might be the lowest score he puts up all year. We'll see. I mean, and it's going to be tough to catch him. But we have a question from Squirrel Meat. Should I trade CEH for McKissick? Yeah, I would. Would you, Will?
I think at this point, I mean, does Gibson even have two shins? I don't even know. So, and which that's actually an interesting one because McKissick actually talking about handcuffs, right? McKissick stepped in and he took over that full role, right? Yeah. And as we well noted in the chat, I had a lot of stock in Patterson, Jared Patterson going and stepping into some of that role because when he's touched the ball, he's looked good and just not interested in it, you know. And he's also an undrafted guy, so there is kind of that stigma there, you know. And which you even see with Robinson, where like the first few weeks of this year that James Robinson didn't get any carries, even though the dude can play. But anyway, yeah. So McKissick, I think that's a good point, Squirrel Meat. I think, I mean, if Gibson goes down, I can definitely see McKissick going and being better than CEH rest of the season, which is kind of a shocking thing to say.
Yeah, I agree. I think those types of like Cordell Patterson, who's heavily involved in Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
If Mike Davis were to go down,
I mean, he's really far better than Mike Davis, though.
Yeah, and he is. But like, he's that traditional runner. And look, Mike Davis in his own right did really well to fill in for CMC, but now he's been given a role to start. Maybe he's better as a supplementary player. But Cordell Patterson does things out of the backfield that not many players can do because he does have those wide receiver skills and the hands. So.
It's rare,
to be able to run as well.
It's rare, and he's big and strong enough to be able to run, but he's able to break tackles. Which I mean, we saw him when they played against the Jets, and he was the dude that won him the game, you know.
Yeah.
Atlanta, right? Absolutely. That when he actually when it looked like the Jets took control was when he went out. They ran that halfback pass, right, and they thought he had concussion, so he went out for two series. It was only 2 series that the Jets seemingly stopped Atlanta. And then he came back in and it was like, oh, no one can guard this guy. Can't come in with a linebacker, you know.
Safety now. Corner's too big for a corner.
He's just going to run you over.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Which is very much like, it's like, where was this? I don't know, 5 years ago, right? Why hasn't he always been a running back, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of started that trend in Madden before anyone else did.
I've been all over it.
Yeah, he would just get like punt returns and kick returns, and he was just kind of like a polished Josh Cribbs, really. And but now he's carved out a role.
He's a first round pick too, right? So
yeah,
he couldn't get the polish on the routes. In Minnesota originally.
So we'll save our bit that we want to do for next week when we have the full squad here. But yeah, we'll and it will be halfway through the season as we wrap up week 7. So we'll talk a little bit about some guys that we look forward to in the second half of maybe becoming the second half stories, if you will. So we'll do that next week, and we'll have a little bit more structure here with what we're doing. We may be bringing on a producer too. We've had some inquiries about producing the show as this starts to take off onto international levels. So of course, we're looking forward to that. But let's keep it short tonight, Will. I got a long day tomorrow. I got a belly full of New York strip in me right now. I'm just ready for bed.
I did porterhouse today.
There you go. Yeah, my boss is in town, so we took a couple clients out to dinner at Capitol Grill, and Capitol Grill's got really good stuff. Yeah, great food, great wine list, and I'm like, shit, I gotta get home and do trivia, and then I gotta stare at my terrible fantasy team for a half hour to 45 minutes. But yeah, let's go through the week 7 matchups. We'll quickly run down. I'm now looking at Steve's team, and it's gotten a lot closer since he's made that trade with Boyce, as well as picked up Teddy Bridgewater. So right now he's starting Bridgewater, Fournette, Henderson, Adams, Parker, Hardman, the Ricky Seals Jones play. No defense yet. Nick Folk is there. He might actually, if he picks up a defense, he might be probable to win here. I'm starting to Ernest Johnson, and Goober had asked if I knew something that everyone else did. Of course I knew Nick Chubb was going to get hurt. Didn't you see? Or how Kareem Hunt was going to get hurt. Haven't you seen my season? So we'll see what Ernest does in a starting role tomorrow night. But
the question is how long is Hunt out? Obviously,
Hunt looked like he did not want to put any weight on that leg. And I wonder if Chubb would have started if the game was on Sunday. Maybe not, though. Not sure.
Yeah, well, it's also another calf injury, right? So those, as Kevin can tell you, that they can be debilitating.
Those linger.
They definitely linger. He had to call himself out of a South Hold volleyball tournament due to a strained calf.
That's his excuse every time I ask him to play vintage. He's like, my calf's acting up.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, the thing
it's
is
either that or he's got to be dad of the year. That's those are excuses.
You should do leg day once in a while. Okay.
Yeah, we. Well, I don't know.
Smallest legs in his family, and
yeah.
What Lila's 6 months old now?
Just do some squats, dude. That's all you got to do. Do some squats. Well, just give you a rundown. You can quickly. I think I don't know. I want to win, of course, but it's going to be a rough week for me again. I think I'm afraid of Adams in Washington. Henderson has been going off. Fournette had a huge week last week. I don't know. Do I have a shot?
I think you have a puncher's chance in this one. I just think Steve needs to get some luck back, right?
I think, and this is the week. This is the week he's getting his luck. Yeah. So, oh God, I wish Kadarius Toney was looking real sharp in the first series of that game last week. And I mentioned to you, I mean, Daniel Jones threw the ball 51 times. He was at least getting half of those targets. So let's see if he comes back healthy. I hate that they rushed him back. I hate the Giants for doing that, but whatever. What are you going to do? Yeah, we'll move on to the next matchup here.
And it's an ankle, right? So those linger.
Yeah, it's an ankle. Those definitely linger as well.
He's a Florida dude. He kind of I don't know. They seem to take themselves out more frequently. Those SEC receivers, right? Odell is constantly
constantly hurt.
Tent.
Absolutely. Well, let's look at the next matchup here. We'll quickly go through it. We've got Russo 4-2 versus Jan. Jan's got to get right this week, and it's pretty dead even right now. And it looks like their rosters are set. Look at this. Mo Alley Cox rising from the ashes like a phoenix. Remember the big Mo Alley Cox hype last year?
The big movement. Big movement. I thought it's like no one can cover him. And the thing is, like, whenever they do throw him the ball, it's like, how can anybody cover this guy? He has the longest arms you've ever seen, and he just looks like it's just like raw power as he's running into the end zone. But that's the only target he gets all game, and he ends up with 22 yards with a touchdown. And it's like, so did he play?
In our league, in our league,
it's a nice week.
Bad out of a tight end position.
It's 8 points.
Kyle Pitts.
It happens every 3 weeks, so you get 3 zeros or 2 zeros.
So maybe Devil catches lightning in the bottle with Mo Alley Cox. Yeah. Kyle Pitts, the other tight end on the other side of the aisle here, he had a really nice game against the Jets. I think we kind of predicted that, this might be now. Like, I was going to save it. Obviously, Kyle Pitts is one of the guys I was going to mention for next week, but we can, we'll bottle that up and go over a little bit more. But yeah, I think Pitts against Miami has a nice day, and you would hope that Hopkins feasts against his old team against Houston at home. I see a big day out of him, and yeah, I mean, Tampa Bay, the way they're rolling right now, I've got Russo in a pretty convincing win here, even though right now it's pretty close on paper. And, bye week blues for Devil as well with Zeke out, Marvin Jones. So, and Dalton Schultz. Tough week for Devil. I got to get this win. I got to get this win to put him down in 11th place, but we'll see. We're both taking Russo here. What more to go over at this point? I mean, Brian projected 128 points to Mullins 96. And it's not even fair at this point. It really isn't. Derrick Henry is just an unstoppable force. He's even starting earlier this year than he did last year when he started going off. So I've got
can't pass the ball, right? They just can't. I mean, they ended up having a nice second half last week, but their passing game is virtually non-existent, and I thought that Julio would help there, try to draw coverage away from AJ Brown, but Brown has not looked great. He has not looked like the guy he was the last 2 years.
He's hurt too.
Yeah. I guess.
But they traditionally the last couple of years when Henry's gone off, they just don't have to throw the ball, right? I mean, they just put it in the hands of Henry and he does his thing. Even that game against Seattle this year where they were down, they consistently decided to, no, we're going to still run the ball. And then he went off in that second half. I mean, the one big run that kind of blew the stats. But, yeah, they stick with their guns, and it's been working for them.
Same, right? That he put up 140 246 yards or whatever
against Buffalo.
But one of them was a 76-yard run in the first half. At the end of the first half, right? So aside from that run, he had 70 yards on whatever 20-something carries. So they kind of did hold him in check. Obviously, 3 touchdowns, massive fantasy day, but it wasn't that he was the he wasn't. I mean, the stat line obviously did run all over him, but but it wasn't that he was just churning off 7-8 yards carry over and over again.
Here's
the
a
crazy thing is that you don't think a guy at 246 pounds has the home run speed that he has, and it's just
he's so fast. He's just a beast. A question from Goober PW: Ertz or Goddard? You can go fuck yourself. All right, doesn't matter who you play.
Isn't Goddard out? And so it's Ertz.
Goddard's out. Ertz or Goddard? It's Ertz. You clown.
Clown show.
Yeah, and Goddard does have Corvid. Yeah, there you go. Well, I think you start Ertz either way. You could start Will at tight end, and you'd still be okay. We're both taking Mullen here.
I was pretty good back in the day.
You were an athlete for sure. Were being the operative word. Naka versus Ham. A couple 3-3 teams looking for victories. Naka is projected to lose.
One Miley Cyrus comment, and the gloves come off.
Matt Ryan, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Booker still going to start there. Beckham, is he play? We'll see. He just hasn't taken Emmanuel Sanders out yet, so this might be a little bit closer. But Ham, again, this is the week Ham needs to get right. Winston and Kamara coming back. Definitely are going to help. They're definitely going to help here. And market a lot of stock in this New Orleans defense or this New Orleans offense against Seattle on Monday night. Marcus Callaway. So we'll see what happens there. I've got Ham though. I think Ham, after some bye week blues last week, comes back. Kamara is going to be fresh against Seattle. We know that Seattle's defense isn't all that it's cracked up. It is going to be in the 12th man, so maybe that helps. But I think that I think New Orleans is coming off the bye week thinking we got to get Kamara involved somehow. He's our best player on the field by far. How do we get him involved and maximize his touches? And you may see that start this Monday night. So I've got
I agree.
I've got Ham.
Yeah, I got Ham as well, and I agree with that too. I think that I think that they're gonna have to go and start force feeding the ball. And Sean Payton's too bright of a dude to.
But does Jameis Winston allow that to happen? He's still the quarterback there. He's still going to be that gunslinger type. But if they tell him like this is the way we're going to run the offense, maybe he should listen. Obviously, he's the quarterback for the coach, but he's not the check down guy. So these have to be designed plays where they get him the ball. Yeah, they're not. He's not Drew Brees, as we know, who's going to check it down to Kamara. So, but we both have Ham. We'll see what happens in that game. Teddy versus Will, another 4-2 matchup here. And oh boy, this is pretty close. Tua, DeAndre Swift, Darrell Williams, DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Julio, Mark Andrews, Rams. I guess it'll be a little less closer if you add a kicker. Did you add a kicker this Wednesday?
No, I didn't get it in there. So I actually dropped my kicker. I had two waiver wire pickups. So I had my kicker.
So you picked up Brian Edwards, and who else did you pick up there?
Well, I didn't get the other one. So
okay.
I only dropped the kicker. So I have to pick up the kicker and do some gymnastics there. I'll probably end up with.
I wanna say you're gonna win this week, but for some reason, I mean, even with no Cook, no Jefferson, I don't know. I really don't know. Teddy, I mean, this look, if Kareem Hunt was healthy, this would be a no-brainer for me because I think this is a good week for him. Yeah. But I think you're going to win this week. And this is a good point here from Goober. Penny's going to roster lock you. So you might need to finagle some way out of that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
You'll figure it out. I'm sure you'll figure it out. You'll probably drop Jared Patterson and pick him up once again. That's been your move this year.
It is.
I'm gonna take you, Will, in a close game. I still like Cooper Kupp. We didn't even talk about the revenge game, Stafford revenge game. Obviously, he's going to be feeding Kupp. He loves to throw to Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and others. But yeah, Cooper Kupp could have a big day again. But I just don't think it's enough with AJ Green being kind of the other guy there, and Antonio Brown could be hit or miss again. So we'll see. It'll be close, but I'm taking you, Will. The final matchup here. This is pathetic. I mean, 80-74 projection wise. I'm going to
take. Are they playing in the same scoring system? Is this?
I don't know. This is
the same league.
This is the no quarterback league we're playing. No, boy, Boyce's team. Look at this. Look at this roster.
It's rough. It's rough.
It is. And you know what? Not to bash on Boyce because he's got some bye week stuff coming up here because Herbert obviously out and his big receiver, Mike Williams. But this is quite the construction here. If Kevin loses to this squad, might need to reevaluate life. But I don't know. It's going to be close. I'm still going to take Kevin because Kyler Murray against Houston should have a huge day. Sam Darnold going back to the Meadowlands. Do you see any magic there? Or does he see ghosts again?
Yeah. Wait, going to the Meadowlands? He's got the
they're playing the Giants. Yeah, they're playing the Giants in the Meadowlands because I believe they played in Carolina week 1.
Obviously, that was against that was in Foxborough.
The Patriots.
But I could see Sam Darnold having a nice game against the Giants there. That defense is not very good, and that offense is too talented for the way they've been playing. But I just can't see that roster as a whole being good enough to.
I mean, even kind of diving into Kevin's roster now, he's got Latavius Murray, Rashad Bateman, and Marquise Brown against Cincinnati. 3 guys. Obviously, Marquise Brown has got a nice little share of the offense there, but Latavius Murray has been kind of all over the place for me. Yeah, and Alex Collins now on Monday night who's questionable. It's going to be the Kyler Murray show once again. That's what's going to have to save Kevin's week if he's going to do anything. But
I changed my mind. I got Boyce.
You got Boyce?
I think Boyce has enough here. Yeah, and which I think it is. I think that Jacoby Myers is due some touchdown regression. I actually do like the Ty Johnson play that they're going to have to go and try to run the ball on New England here, even though Mekhi Becton's not back and fans can't.
Yeah, I kind of like Michael Carter before the bye, and maybe they get him more involved in both running and passing. But yeah, I mean, Khalil Herbert's going to get the start. We know that. Khalil Herbert's going to get, but he's going up against one of the toughest run defenses in football in Tampa Bay. I like Jacoby Myers. T.Y. Hilton made an appearance. He's back apparently now. And look at what Jalen Waddle did last week against a similar defense to what Atlanta kind of runs out there, a soft cover 2, and Waddle may feast underneath. And
Jasicki too has been He's been
whichever team between the Ravens and the Dolphins, whichever team performs better on Sunday will determine this matchup. I'm going to assume that right now because they both got 3 guys going, or 3 players, I should say, with the defense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Tough offenses to really stack. Without getting the quarterbacks. I mean, not that you really want to, but I mean the Ravens. Lamar just does not spread the ball.
Yeah.
And then so anyway, we'll see what happens here. But
see what happens. So I'm gonna take Boyce as well. Yeah, as I said, I'm gonna take Boyce in the win here, even though that
here
implements me to end up in the lowest spot in the rankings. If he wins and I lose, I'm gonna be in rough shape. But I've almost all but accepted the fact that I'll probably be fighting for those last 2 to 3 spots the rest of the year. I just got to do just enough. We call this the Kevin Burke. Do just enough to not end up in the booty or lose in the booty. Always getting by in the skin of his teeth. But I really think that the next couple of weeks here, we get the trade deadline coming up. I'm sure there's gonna be tons of moves. We've hit the halfway point of the season once we conclude week 7. And of course, we'll have another show for you next week as we go over those matchups and talk a little bit about the second half that we are looking forward to. So that's about it, Will. Quick show tonight with no Boyce, and I'm kind of okay with it. Because I'm almost fantasied out at this point.
Yeah, it's amazing. It feels like it's much later in the season. But I mean, we just crossed week 6, so it's really, really only of the full NFL season. We're at the 1/3 point, right? It's only a third of the way through.
Yeah.
So but it does. It feels like there's a drain. I think that a lot of these matchups have been. They've been close and changing late in the week, and I think that's
Monday night has been Monday night has been a stressful time for our league, and as you know, Steve's been taking the worst of it. I've had some bad beats. Well, Boyce hates when I use that term "bad beats" because apparently it's not accurate to his his betting ways, but you know what I mean. Just losses where you're just like, it feels so bad, but but again, there's still weeks left here to turn it around, maybe get a couple wins and make it interesting. But I'm always excited to see how it shakes out at the end of the week. And we hope to see you next time. If you guys want to hop on next week, we'll have the full cast of characters and we'll talk a little about players. And we want you guys to interact. Throw some names out in the chat. Let us know if you have a guy or player that you are looking forward to seeing in the second half. And we'll debate, we'll discuss, and we'll analyze. So that's about it for us. Till next time, for Will, I'm Brett. We are out.
We out.
And this is the point where we're dubbing the "fuck you, Mullen."
Yeah, just go and play it. And
I'm gonna go play that right in there.